Will you allow me to show you a sonic party trick? Check this out. I have Cait loaded here, which is this beautiful vocal library that we're going to take a look at today. And in this particular patch here, well, in case with all the patches in the library, we have dozens of phrases laid out on every single key. Let's take a sample like, and then load it into a second part as well. So we now have two of them. I'm going to take micro pitch here, put it at like +7. We get a little bit of phasing between them. I'm going to take each of these parts and pan them out like real hearts. We get like a heart stereo field. Gonna take the pitch here, up it a little bit, so we're gonna get more into sort of a helium mouse territory. I'm gonna take the time stretcher here and go way down. And all of a sudden we have a tone. I kind of like that sound, so I'm gonna go in here and say, hey, take this one sample here. I'm gonna remove all the other ones here. Just take this one sample here, but stretch it across all the keys. I'm gonna do that for both parts here. And all of a sudden we got. I'm gonna take this and push it up another octave for the whole patch here. Just to get it more inside that normal piano region. And I'm gonna go into effects here and add a little bit of filter, and then let's just trigger the ARP and see what happens. So that's what we can do with a single sample in Soundpaint. We can make it into a synthesizer. We can do anything we want with it. And I just wanted to show that here in the beginning because these phrase libraries contains thousands of different phrases. We can use them in so many different ways. And in the case of Cait, who is one of the most unique artists and singers I've ever met in my life, she was so diverse. Throughout Cait's career, she's been experimenting a lot with different singing styles, different ways of phrasing, both in Western and Eastern traditions, Eastern Asia as well, sometimes dating all the way back to old Vedic traditions in terms of singing in Sanskrit, which she's doing, but she can also take it more Western, do these sort of haunting, beautiful chants. She can turn into a witch, she can sing in Balkan or Middle Eastern. Cait has one of the most unique and large vocal toolboxes that I've ever come across. She's also worked a lot with bodywork and healing for decades as well, and you can hear that in the soulfulness of her singing. So it's such a privilege for me to be able to go back and rediscover all this sonic beauty that I captured years ago in some beautiful and very personal sessions. Welcome to Soundpaint. I'm Trolls, and this is Cait. As if one key wasn't enough, we have octaves worth here of unique ambiences created by the so majestically talented and one of the most humble human beings I know, Steven Tavaglione, who plays a lot of the solo instruments and does a lot of the ambiences on Thomas Newman's soundtracks. So if you like Thomas Newman, you'll probably hear a lot of that sort of soulful ambient kind of quality in this. Steve took Cait's voices and process them in his unique ways. He has this EY flute that he'll play phrases on, and then he'll record them into a variety of delays and reverbs and a bunch of magical time stretchers that he's sort of been building over the years. Super proprietary sort of signal flow. I still don't understand it to this day, but out comes these incredibly beautiful ambiences. And it's not just ambiences that are created with like click a button and generate a drone. These are played. So Steven will play with Cait's phrases into this matrix of plugins he has, and then out you get these emotive ambiences. so many colors, it's like an explosion. When I think of Cait, I don't just think of a singer or a sample library or an instrument. I really think of an entire sonic universe. That's how diverse she is. These were just a couple of the ambiences. In this case here, I have two of them playing at the same time. One is up a seventh here, but let me just play them standalone here. This is the same bank, but without the seventh over here. We have two different banks for ambiences. Here's the second one here. I always think of flowers when I listen to Cait. So I came up with an idea for a program here called Dual Voiced. If you ever need a little more like spaciousness with Cait, a little more sort of like I have a little choir of Cait, I like to take two identical parts and then just tweak them a little bit here. So part one here will be panned hard left and part two over here will be panned hard right. And then I add a little bit of a dash of micro pitch to one of the parts here, which is going to be slightly out of phase with the first one, but it's such a little amount that we just get a natural sort of phase between the two phrases, but they stay relatively intact even when they're long. It sounds like a reasonably rehearsed kind of duet. I also created these like noise RP kind of machines. So using a variety of different vocalizations or non-tonal kind of mouth voices and then running them through the ARP, and something interesting happens. So depending on what combination we have of keys, we can create different kind of grooves. They're sort of the human equivalent of the sort of TikTok sound for trailers. Here's yet another art machine. I wanted to create sort of a Dune-inspired, like desert voice, like with a lot of reverb here. There's a lot of stuff going on. We have a shimmer reverb going into a compressor and then a stereo imager on the outside here. As I move my mod wheel, I'm expanding the stereo field as well. Just a beautiful ethereal patch. Also, find that there's a seductive quality to Cait's voice. It brings me into mystical and beautiful places I've never been before. So that inspired me to create this patch here, which are like the sirens calling me. Aren't they pretty, pretty in a kind of a siren kind of way? I just love that sort of slow moving, like I'm like calling you slowly. Let's begin on the journey into the chants. And this is where the library really starts getting beefy. Each of these parts here have dozens and dozens of samples laid out here on the keys. So there's an enormous amount of material. There are thousands and thousands of phrases to show. I'll try to go through it reasonably fast here, but there's actually over 15 hours of recording of phrases. What a beautiful phrase. Is that a human being or what? Like, you will never get an AI to do this. That's the voice of someone who means it. Let me slow down the time here. And for something like this, a shimmer could work. I'm always hesitant and careful using too much shimmer, but sometimes they have their place. Here's another patch. Again, we have key range down here. There's a sample on every single key across all these octaves here. So beautiful. So many unique vowels and intonations. It's anything but usual. And that's what's so beautiful about this library. It's unusually beautiful. Also so pretty. Here's some high chants. I find as the music industry is evolving or sometimes devolving, that what I miss the most in my instruments and my samples is really like just human emotion, raw, beautiful human emotion. And Cait really just gave it all. You can feel it miles away. We have a beautiful interview with Cait on the webpage, and I highly encourage you guys to listen to it. It's a 40-minute long sort of podcast style interview where we talk to her and she explains her life story. And if you're curious about learning more about why she sings the way she does and why it sounds so emotional and sometimes so soulfully tearing, just listen to her backstory, which is both beautiful and incredibly humbling as well. She's just a beautiful soul. Hear more of these high chants. It's really impressive to be able to sing for that long, actually, with so much air coming out here. So these are also high chains, but with medium length. And we have another bank here where she's singing extra softly. If you look here again, it's 4 octaves. So there's so many phrases, you can literally compose multiple songs out of just one part. So Cait likes to explore emotions in her voice. For example, here's hope. But as you can see here in the UI, we also have mournful, we have romantic. We try to give the program names and the part names appropriate names so it's easier to sort of find the emotional mood you're looking for, or in this case here, hopeful or Middle Eastern. Just different keywords to sort of throw you in the direction of what the intention was with that session. Ananda Dev Trishina Varechmare Varechmare Vrana Ferech Varechmaran. And we're detecting a rhythm here. A lot of these phrases here are also rhythmic, and when they are roughly in the same tempo, so it all sort of syncs, and you can start constructing your own melodies or phrases from them. Varechmarana Dörekelechkanach Varechmarana Vrana Ferechmalashan. It also has a little bit of a sort of Lord of the Rings elvish kind of vibe to it sometimes. I don't know particularly what this language is. It may be Sanskrit, but... Vrana Ferechmalashan. So many like unique vowel shapes. Vrana Ferechmalashan. So cool. Here's some more like Middle Eastern inspired phrases. There are really a lot of complexities when it comes to the human voice that no computer to this point, AIs included, can get even close to emulating. This is just a real human being. I can hear her life experience flow through the notes. Here more like mournful chants. You may notice that I'm moving the mod wheel here when I'm sculpting the phrase here. It essentially just gives a little more sort of a clarity on the phrase. And we'll notice that the volume is moving a little bit up here as well. So it's just boosting a little bit of the volume. It's boosting a little bit of the highs here. So just sort of giving clarity control, if you will. And equally important, on the flip side of mournful, we have these beautiful, romantic, very positive, life-induced chants. Let's go into rhythms. These are a little bit longer. There's also these sort of frantic calls in here, but they have a little more of a rhythmic profile as phrases, if you will. Here's some frantic calls. And we have 3 additional programs purely made from more rhythmic chants. That's sort of the whole tabla player thing. You may have noticed that we got a little bit of reverb in some of the programs here. That's coming from our plate reverb here. I like to set the tone a little bit darker on it here. Not too bright. Though it's beautiful up there as well, I just feel sometimes the highs sort of steal too much information or they create too much noise. So I like to go a little more old school sometimes, a little more sort of chamber plate. Human being. This is the opposite of static sampling.
Asatoma sadgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya, tamasumma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya.
I made a demo for the library called Tribes that's using this particular set of phrases here. I just thought they were so beautiful.
Asatoma sadgamaya, tamasumma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Chakitadun.
It's just so beautiful.
Gongurargarebe, dundagirigiriba, chakitchakadun.
Oh my God, so cute.
Gongurargarebe, gunda baragiriga, traction, chakitikadun. Chaka-chaka-chaka-chaka-chaka-chaka-chaka-chaka-chaka-dun. Barambrama.
Cait was also kind enough to offer so many different kind of singing styles. We call them songs here. These are also chants, but they are more designed to be sort of a song, if you will. So there's a connection between every single phrase on the keyboard, and you can design a near, if not completely infinite amount of new songs from all this material. Let's kick it off here with some Balkan singing.
Geshonamara, direhilana destara no.
And Brahma.
Gurudeva Maheshwara Guru Saksha Param Brahma.
So sweet.
Param Brahma.
One of the wildest things about Cait is that she masters several types of Western and Eastern singing styles, but she also made up a completely invented language that, for her, was bringing forth new material that couldn't otherwise be done. And I think it's so important that we, as composers and producers as well, really focus a lot sometimes on developing our own voice. So it's not always a replica of others. There's clearly only one Cait in the world. Now, you may have noticed that some of these phrases are a little bit identical. Sometimes when I use this library, I like to stack a couple of them because Cait tends to sing a couple of the phrases in a similar way, so you can kind of stack them. So it can be cool to take these different kind of combinations, stack them together, and get sort of a mini choir of Cait's, if you will. Oh, what a beautiful band. Isn't it cool? I mean, I wish my voice could go like this high and go all the way down to where she's like so expressive and such clarity in the notes as well. I mean, imagine singing this high. And still be able to sort of weave in and out of the notes with such elegant vibrato as well. It's beautiful. And we got some lullabies. I can hear a little bit of Cait's Welsh inspiration as well. Beautiful sort of Lord of the Rings kind of vibe. Sugandim pushti vardanam mrityaram mukshiyam amritan jum sa These are more of these sort of modern TikTok-y kind of voices that we've been listening to for the last, I don't know, handful of years. Very popular in trailers, very popular in movies. These are, for the most part, like non-tonal percussive voices. These are non-tonal accentuations. And here more sort of click-clocky, tick-tocky kind of noises. Oh my god, this one here. Oh, love that. Plenty of wetness, even without reverb. We also have these short sort of vocalizations. They have a little more of a tonal quality to them. Oh, it's so sweet. I hope this library has brought you down some new sonic oceans that you haven't explored before. I know it's done it for me for years, and it'll continue to do it. When there's this much phrase material, I know I have an almost eternal sonic universe to explore here. And it's been wild actually putting it inside of Soundpaint here as well, because there are just so many things I can do. So many ways of bending this source material into something fresh, you know? It's as if I had all the fruits I could imagine and could just blend them into new concoctions all the time, like the ultimate sort of sonic mixologist, if you will. Shout out to Cait, who's been in my mind for many, many years, and is just a beautiful human being that has had to endure an enormous amount of life experience in a single lifetime. She's lived many lives inside of one, and I can hear it in the library.
Mokshiyamamrita Om Sajam.